Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Future Dimensions 360. As you guys know, in our last couple of tutorials, we had learned about render props. From today's tutorial, in the coming two tutorials, we will be learning about context. What is context, why we need context, and how we can make context in React.js application. So let's go ahead with the help of example. We will be learning what is context actually. This is a very traditional example. We have an application with couple of components. Component A, component B, component C, component D, E, and F respectively. Component A, B, C are on same level. D and F is on same level, and G is on the last level. What happened in this example is actually I have a username available in app component. So I want this username to be shown in my A component, D component, and G component. So for A, although it's very normal and clear, what I have to do is I have to pass this username as a props from my app component. So I can receive it as username as a props in my A component and use it whatever and display it, or I will do it whatever I want. In the second scenario, when I want username in component D, what I have to do is I have to pass this pass this username from an app component to B component. Then B component will manually pass the same username as a props to D component. Although I don't need this username in component D, but still I am restricted to pass this username as a props as I want it in D component. Now in the third example, I have to pass this component username from app component to C similarly, then from C to F, and then from F to G. Why? Because I need the username in G component. So I'm passing the component as a props from B, C, and F without any reason. Here I don't need this username, but still I am passing this as a props. Just example, like I have a big application and I have like 20 or 30 levels of my components. In that leveling, what will happen? Somewhere I need a language, en English, or you can say French. So that kind of language I am starting to pass from app component until 30 levels. So it will like really not practical to pass the props from app level to 30 levels down. So this kind of situation is where you are passing the props from the components where you don't need them is known as props drilling. So when you have props drilling available, when the props drilling comes into the picture, you have a solution for that is provided by the React is context API. You can use context API to overcome this scenario. What is context API? Context API provide you a way to pass data through the component tree without having to pass props down manually at any level. You can pass data from any level to any level wherever you actually want it. If you don't want it, you will never pass the data through that component where you don't want it. This will come very, very much in your application. Why? Because, for example, there are some sort of scenarios for you have to pass currency, you have to pass language, you have to pass usernames. Many, almost like 90% of the web applications, you will be using username either as a customers or as a like any kind of usernames you will be needing it. So these kind of stuff, when we are using at some certain level or some certain components, you will be needing it randomly, like at any level, this kind of data. So instead of passing them throughout the application as a props in every component at every level, you will be using context API. So let's go ahead in our next video and try to learn what is context API. See you inshallah in the next video. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.